Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Educators Hangout. My name is Carol Barlow. We're already having network issues, but we're back. My name is Carol Barlow from SEBA Consultancy and Training Services. This is the Educators Hangout, and today I am so excited. Today we're going to be talking to some very special people in my life, all the leaders or some of the leaders from Meadowhall School in Lagos. Reputedly, and I think, but I'm a little bit biased, that it's one of the best schools in Nigeria. So I'm going to introduce my guests. They're waiting in the green room. I'm going to introduce them one by one, let them introduce themselves. I'm so excited. Please comment in the comment box. Let us know that you're here. Let us know that you're with us, and let's get started. Okay, let's introduce Mrs. Yinka Obefasoyi. Hi, Yinka. How are you?
Carol? Thank you.
It's so
Thank
good to
you.
see you.
Thank
How
you.
are
Good to
you?
be seen and good to see you too.
Can you just put your laptop down a little bit so I can see your full face? Yay, perfect. Beautiful, wonderful.
Okay.
How are you,
Thank
and
you.
how is COVID been
Um,
to you?
I'm very well. Thank you, Carol. I'm very
Awesome.
well. A lot
All
of
right.
hectic work, but yeah, expected, isn't it?
Absolutely. Can you introduce yourself for everybody that's listening in?
Okay, thank you, Carol. Well, my name is Olayinka Obafisoye Mrs. I'm the head of school of Meadowhall Education. So that's me.
Hey, Meadowhall, one of the best schools in Nigeria.
The best.
All right, wonderful. Let me just take you out while I introduce our other guests. We'll be back
Thank
to
you,
you
Carol.
shortly. Okay, we're going over to Taye. Taye, how are you?
Hi,
Oh, I'm
Carol. I'm
not here.
very well, thank you.
Okay, great. We're hearing you now.
How are
Taye,
you
how are
doing?
you? You're looking
I'm
fine.
very
I'm
well.
missing you guys so much.
How are you doing?
So, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Can
Thank
you
you for having
introduce
us here today.
yourself? Oh, you're very welcome.
My name
It's
is
my
Taye
pleasure.
Irunse. I'm the head of Meadowhall Consult.
Awesome. So, what do you do? What does Consult do?
Okay, Meadowhall Consult is a training and consultancy firm. We are very passionate about grooming teachers and contributing to the development of the Nigerian child through improving the educational system, working with schools to improve their structure, developing curriculum for schools, and everything that would enable the school, turn out to be a 21st century school indeed.
Awesome. 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 We're going to take you out. I'm going to invite our other guest in, and then we're going to bring you all together, and we're
Thank
going to
you
have a
very
good
much.
old
Thank
chat.
you. It's nice
All
to be
right.
here.
Thank you. So my final guest today is Fatimo Okoye. You know, I can never say your
I can't
surname.
hear.
Can you introduce yourself? Ah, we seem to be having some connection problems. I'm not sure if it's at my end or at their end. So to get started, let's go over to Yinka. And what we'll do is we'll introduce different people along the way. So as we're going through, Yinka, are you there? Yinka, hi.
Yes.
We seem to be having some network issues and we've not even
Mm,
started yet. So just before we go on, if you're listening in, please let us know where you're coming from. Put a comment in the comment box. Let us know that you're here, that you're listening, and that we're not just talking to ourselves. So Yinka, COVID has really had an impact on all schools at the moment. But I know that you have been able to be, you've actually been very, very successful in running the online school. Can you start off just by telling us a little bit about, what was that transition when the schools closed and you had to get started online? What was that like for you as the person in charge? What was that like, and how did you make the transition?
Thank you very much. I would say that what helped me really was strategic leadership. And you know Mrs. Wani very well, our MDC or Mrs.
Yeah.
Kendi Wani. She's always encouraged us and sent us on trainings regarding strategic leadership. And the first thing that we did was to train ourselves. And one of the things that I learned from her, and also from the trainings that I did, at that time, in March to be precise, was that first, we must adopt a very adaptive nature and culture. We mustn't carry on with business as usual.
As usual.
Yeah. And the third thing that I learned, Carol, was that we must carry on as if this pandemic was permanent. Do not leave anything undone. Don't say, well, this is pending, pending when the pandemic goes. Because number one,
absolutely,
we still aren't sure if it at all would go. Number two, if at all it does, nobody can tell precisely when. So one of the things that I learned to do from Mrs. Wani, from the trainings that I attended, from my team, the ELT, we decided that what we had to do was to cultivate ASAP an adaptive culture. We must accept that this right now is our reality, however unpleasant it was. And of course, it was still is unpleasant. But we had to look at our policies, our practices. We had to adapt them to suit the current reality. And I must say that helped us. So in the course of the third term, we were able to replicate every single thing that we did on site because of that thinking. So you can never underestimate the power of strategic leadership. And I must thank Mrs. Wani, she's right in front. You've also supported us. So strategic thinking, we had to accept that for now, this is our reality.
And it's quite interesting, Yinka, because I remember when I spoke to Mrs. Nwani right at the beginning of all of this, and she said before this, or just as soon as we locked down, she already made the decision that she was not opening for third term. Whilst every other school was sort of hoping, keeping their fingers crossed and praying that that it was going to be over in just a couple of weeks, just a few weeks, and that was a big mistake, actually. And it was a very brave decision on her part to make a decision right from the outset that we're not opening for third term. So everybody knew from the outset that this is our reality, So let me just take time to introduce Mrs. Okweo. Did I say that right?
Almost, Carol. Okay.
Fatima, introduce yourself,
okay,
please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Fatima Okeowo, and I'm the principal of Meadowhall College. I've worked in Meadowhall College now, or Meadowhall School, for 13 years, and I'm still counting. I actually started working in the primary section before I was moved up to the college, and I kept growing in leadership, and now I'm the principal of Meadowhall College. I'm proudly so.
Welcome, welcome. It's really good to see you. It has been too long since I've seen you guys. So welcome online. So I have all my guests with me, all the leaders that I've been working with for almost, over 2 years now, I think. I miss you so much. COVID has taken us away, but we have to work with what we have on board. So I want to know, you are all school leaders in one way, shape or form. Taye, I know you're a school, you're not working in the school, you're part of Consult, but you're all part of the leadership team. And I know from personal experience that you're all passionate and driven, often working very long hours, sometimes even at weekends, even during this COVID pandemic. So I want to know what drives you. What is it that drives you? What makes you so passionate? And what keeps you what keeps you keeping on? So
Carol,
let's start with Yinka.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so when you talk about passion and passionate leadership, really, you're talking about energy, you're talking about a very strong belief and concern in making sure that every child learns. So if you're a leader and you're passionate as I am, then you must understand your priorities, and my priority is for every single child in Meadowhall to learn. That drives me. It drives me, it makes me want to keep giving and giving and giving. And when you look at Mrs. Winey as that role model right in front of us and modeling that to us, that passion, she's there. Mrs. Winey is visibly present, to lead. So when I think about that, and I know that my passion must be seen in the impact that I make in the life of every child. My passion must lead me to supporting every single child to be whole, not just the academics, but in every single sense of it.
Okay.
It has to do with that strong belief that our community can make progress. You do not leave any stone unturned. Even staff, you believe that every child, every staff, every teacher can get better. And that drives me. That drives me, Carol.
And it really does, because very often I know that I've called you sometimes 7, 8 o'clock at night and you're still at work, and I say, go home, time to go home. And it is about work-life balance. But that's one of the things I love about your staff team, is that you are so passionate. Now I'm getting lots of messages saying that they can't hear us. They can't hear us. I think we're having some network issues, and I'm not sure if it's from my end.
Okay, someone just said they can hear us clearly now.
Okay, yeah. Fantastic, good. So, so for those of you that are listening in, welcome to the Educators Hangout. I'm here with the leaders from Meadowhall School in Lagos. I'm so excited because I've been working with them for more than 2 years now. And they are a fantastic team of leaders who I'm very passionate about working with. So Yinka was just sharing with us what drives her. And I think the key thing that sets you apart, actually, Yinka, and to all of you, is the fact that it is about the children. It is about the standards. Yes, they can hear us clearly now. Thank you for communicating that. So it is very much about, I'm seeing other people on board. It is very much about keeping up those standards of education and being passionate about the children. And the feeling that I have, Yinka, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that it's not just the teachers. It's not just the leadership, actually. It's everybody throughout the organization. Even down to your environmental staff, who are always very pleasant, very polite. Yes. They've got quality, they've got standards. Everybody is very
and even our parents, Carol, even our parents, they're very passionate, they're very present, they're very cogent and active part of our community.
Absolutely. I'm going to go across now to Fatimo. Fatimo, Meadowhall, over the last at least 3 years that I've been working with you, you have been incredibly successful in achieving 100% 5A stars to C, including maths and English. Now that's the measure that we use in the UK to judge an outstanding school. How on earth have you managed that? What is it that drives you, and how have you managed to achieve it? What's the secret of your success? Because I'm sure there's lots of school leaders that will be listening to this broadcast that want to know, how on earth have you managed to do that? So tell us.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you. I think the first thing I'm going to say is gratitude to God for His grace. So we'll continue to say thank you to God Almighty. And secondly, strategic planning. When I say strategic planning, I mean from the very first day children step into Meadowhall, we have actually started planning for what they are going to achieve at the end of year 11. So we do that by collating their data. So from the very first day, when you get into year 7, your entry data is collated. And then we start digging deep. You know, you've taught us to dig deep, and we keep digging deep into this data. We're trying to
Right.
question so many things. We're looking for patterns, we're looking for anomalies, we're asking questions, we're investigating these questions, and we're trying to solve the problems. So when we do that, we're getting to understand the children better, and then we're able to plan for them. So as we do this and plan, we are planning their intervention strategies. But when we get this data, we can actually tell the targets for the child. So we set target based on their entry level. When a child comes in with probably a level 5, and we're telling you that at the end of year 11, you have a minimum of a C. If you don't push too hard, you may have a D. And the child may want to find out why. I'm not comfortable with a C. And the next question is, what can I do? And I'm like, okay, very well. These are the things we can do. On your part, you can do this. On my part, I will do this. On the part of the school, we'll do this. So we're working together to support the child towards ensuring that he or she meets the target or possibly surpass the target.
Okay,
So as a
let me
school, yes,
just pause you there for a minute, because you're speaking language that many Nigerian school owners and school leaders will not understand. You're talking about data, and targets and progress and all of this. So just help those people that are listening in, school owners, school leaders that might be listening in, to sort of just break that down a little bit to show
okay.
how, what's the difference, for example, between looking at a broadsheet full of exam results and what you're doing at Meadowhall.
Okay, so when we have this, we collect this data, which
Okay.
is the broadsheet we're referring to, and we have scores of children with grades, we can actually tell if the child is making progress or not making progress. So we know that at the end of a particular year group, a child should be able to achieve a certain grade. If the child is unable to do that, given all the support, then we want to question what is happening. So what I mean is we always use our data to inform decisions. So because we check the data often, we are quick to identify when there's a problem, and we're quick to put in intervention strategies to support the child or children when there are issues, and then we can help them resolve them before they get onto year 11. So our strategies and intervention plans actually start early as year 7, so we don't have to wait till year 11. So we support the children to get them fully equipped and stable long before the exam. So when they get into the exam hall, they should get into the exam hall comfortably and confidently, knowing that they are well prepared for the exam. So we're not going to be doing the rush hour, last hour game of preparing the children just to take the
Right,
test. We are a lifelong
right.
learner school. We teach the children to enjoy learning.
I love that. Lifelong learner school. I love that.
Yes. Another thing is we're very big on pastoral care. You know, our CEO, Miss Kende Wani, she's taught
Yeah,
us every teacher in Meadowhall is the pastoral staff. So we just don't
right.
listen to the children's need. We try to find solutions to their problems so they can talk to us, they can share their problems, they can be vulnerable with us, and then we can
Yeah,
find solutions and try to find a way to resolve the issues they may be facing. Once this is done all the time, early enough, we will have children that are confident to be able to sit in exam halls and take exams comfortably and possibly do excellently.
okay. Excellent.
Also, we in Meadowhall, we're very big on children being resilient. So you
Yeah,
being in charge of your learning, you being self-led starts from year 7 as well. So this goes down to our classroom teaching. So if I'm teaching a child and the child is struggling with a concept, the child must have put in his own effort before coming to me for a solution. So if the child runs to me all the time, I wouldn't be too quick to say this is the answer. I'll be quick to ask the child, what should you have done? What can you do next? So
right,
I have to see that the child puts in some level of effort before I can add some my support. So we're teaching them to own their
right.
learning, take responsibility for their learning as well. So at the end of the day, we have children that are strong and ready to take the IGCSEs. And most often they, they surpass their targets and actually meet their aspirational targets.
So let me ask you a question. For 3 years running, you have achieved 5 A stars to C, including maths and English. This year, I know, and I think last year you've achieved 100% 6 A stars to see, including maths and English. So is this not the time when you become a little bit complacent and sit on your laurels? Or what's the next milestone? Because the title for today's topic is raising standards of excellence. So what's your next milestone?
Thank you, Carol. You see, learning doesn't end. So once we achieve a particular milestone, we set another bar for it. Once upon a
Right,
time, it used to be minimum of five A stars to C. And then we moved on to minimum of five A stars to C, including maths and English. And then we
right,
moved on to a minimum of six A stars to C, including maths and English. So we
right.
keep lifting the bar and we keep working towards meeting and surpassing our targets. So for us, the next steps are one, improving the quality of grades. So we're looking at A stars to B, increasing the percentage in A stars to B and A stars to A, and
Right.
then moving our bar to a minimum of A stars to C in 8 subjects. So I'm coming to the
Wow.
e-back you've always talked about, Carol.
Yes, we
Yeah,
do, we
so
do, we do.
yeah, the
Now,
e-back.
again, what do we mean by EBAC?
Okay, so
The
this is
EBAC subject.
actually the e-back subject. So they're kind of a rounded subject. So when a child picks subjects following the e-back process, you're a well-rounded child. You're represented in the art subject, you're represented in English and English literature and social sciences and creative subject like computer science. So you have more opportunities to get admission into the best schools in the world because you have the subjects that can give you opportunity, competes very well with children from all over the world. So yes, the e-back is very good. And I feel the subject are challenging enough to push the children to be able to excel in whatever environment they find themselves. So that's where we are pushing ourselves to, Carol.
Oh, Karen is listening from the US. We've got visitors from all over the world. We've got somebody from Ogun State listening. We've got others from Lagos, from Abuja. And
Wow.
so welcome, welcome to all of you. This is the Educators Hangout. It's 4 o'clock. It's Saturday. It's the Educators Hangout. And today I'm very, very privileged to be talking to the great, fantastic, passionate leaders from Meadowhall School in Lekki, Lagos. Yinka, if you're still listening in, can you turn on your video, please? Because I'm coming to you next. I'm going to add you to the conversation. Yinka, you've heard what Mrs. Okweo has said. Please,
Absolutely.
is there anything you wanted to add to the conversation?
Well, I feel she said it all really, but I can just add that
Ah,
in Meadowhall, we said a
network.
lot
We've
about
got
data
network
collection.
problems as we usually do. This is Nigeria. Go ahead, Yinka.
Okay, so you asked that to break it down and all that, and I just want to encourage every educator on this platform, every school owner, every school leader, that
Yes,
even as
I'm
you
with you.
collate your data, you collate your either
Hello.
narrative,
Ah,
descriptive, or quantitative data.
so one
As
of
you
one of
collate
the other
it,
questions that I wanted to ask, I know that network is spooling a little bit, so I'm hoping that you can hear me.
I
Those
can
of you
hear
that are
you.
listening in.
Okay, so it's just to encourage everyone to,
Okay,
as long
Yinka,
as
I'm
you
not
use
hearing you very
data,
well at the moment.
should I carry on?
I can hear
Okay.
her. Oh, she's gone off.
Hi everyone, so sorry about that. We seem to be having some serious network problems. Everybody is having problems at the moment. So I don't think it's just me. We've got Yinka back, we've got Fatima back. We're just waiting for our other guest, Taye, to come back. So sorry about that. I think we're all facing some challenges at the moment. So welcome back. Taye, I think, is trying to get in now. There we go. I have all my guests here. So Yinka, you were just saying, one of the things I wanted to ask, in addition to what Fatima said, is this is fantastic. You know, your A to C's, including maths and English, and your IGCSEs. But what about the Nigerian exams for those students that don't want to study abroad? How are you doing in those, Yinka?
Yes, we know that Meadowhall is essentially a British school. But the
Right.
good thing is we've imbibed the strength of the Nigerian. So
Yes.
we start teaching our children from early years using the EYFS and also with the tinge of the strength of the Nigerian. So when you're talking about WAEC and entrances into Nigerian secondary schools, it starts from early years, to be honest. It isn't something that we start in year 12. So we've embraced the Nigerian culture, even though we know that a lot of our children will end up outside the country, in a Western country. So or in Western countries, beg your pardon. So we prepare them not for exams, but for life. And when it comes to the academic, we have bits and pieces of the Nigerian from the early years. When they move into the primary, we have the Nigerian math, the Nigerian English, we prepare them for life, and when they get to secondary school, starting from year 7, the Nigerian bit is inclusive as well. And then in year 12, some of them get to write WAEC. Our success rate has always been excellent. WAEC is currently going on in Meadowhall right now, as it is in every state in Nigeria. And yes, our children have been doing well. We've been asking them, how did it go? How did you find it? And all positive responses.
All positive. Fantastic. Fantastic. I believe that John has also been doing PE lessons online and
Yes.
everything, which is
He has
quite
to.
phenomenal. I hope you've been joining in, Taye. Me, I've put
I'm,
on some kilos since COVID has come, so I think I need to join some of
that's
your
virtual. I'm sorry, my network has been very, very horrible. I hope
It's
it's a
okay.
bit
So
more stable
Taye,
now.
whilst you're here, and I'll come back to the school leaders. But Taye, what do you think are the keys to successful school leadership? Since you work in consult, you do a lot of the training, including leadership training. So, what do you think the keys to success for strategic leadership are?
So if I heard you right, you're asking what the keys to successful leadership? Is that the
Absolutely.
question?
Yes.
Okay. So first things first, I would say is to understand your vision. For you to be a leader, you have to have a destination and you have to understand the vision of the organization you work with, or even as the school owner or CEO of that organization. And you should be able to translate this vision down to your colleagues and those, that's your subordinates, because the vision drives everything that we do. So that's one key success to being an effective leader. Secondly, is your ability to be able to carry everyone along. A number of people who will be dependent on you. So for you to be a successful school leader, you need to be able to communicate with people. Your interpersonal skills are excellent, has to be excellent. Your people skills has to be excellent. Your work ethics is something that you shouldn't compromise on, because a lot of people will be looking up to you. So those are some
Yeah.
of the qualities that you would require to be successful as a school leader. Beyond, again, um, a fundamental thing, which is the key, which is the knowledge, subject knowledge. You can't downplay the importance of
Sorry,
understanding what
we
you
had
should be
another
doing.
blip. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Subject knowledge is key. Subject knowledge is very important as well. So those,
Right.
those are some of the key skills that school leaders will require to function effectively.
Okay. Now, a lot of the schools that I work with, one of the issues that school leaders often have is this this problem of eye service, of teachers only doing what they're told to do when the school leaders are around. And that's why, you find that school leaders are having to run around like headless chickens, monitoring and checking what's going on. And I know that you do some monitoring, and I know that you do checking, Taye, but how do you think Meadowhall has managed to achieve the standards of excellence that they have with their teachers in such a way that there is very limited eye service going on at Meadowhall? I know it happens everywhere, even in the UK, to be fair. But how have you managed to overcome that? Taye, we seem to have lost her again. Let's see if she can come back and answer that question. Yinka, would you like to have a go at answering that question?
Absolutely, Carol. Yes, like you said, it's quite limited in Meadowhall, and it's not because I'm the head of school. What I would not describe it as eye service, I would describe it as some struggling members of staff.
Right.
Some people have genuine struggles, to be honest. And what we have is we have our systems and our procedures in place. First, we have our vision, we have our policies, our practices, they're guided by these. So we normally would encourage teachers to remember that even though we try to give them as much autonomy as we can, the teaching job can be quite prescriptive when it comes to what to do and what not to do. So we encourage them, we have our systems of monitoring, of being there for them. And what we also do, Carol, is we're quite precise in Meadowhall. It's like you having a class. You have your children, and you know those who are strong and those who are not. You have those who are able and those who are more vulnerable. The same thing with leadership. We have those who they can self-lead. They really, really do not require a lot of supervision. And we know those that do. So we do not give every member of staff the same quality and quantity of supervision. We know those that you need to be right on top of. And we're very professional about it, bearing in mind that, yes, it could be eye service, but it's difficult to tell. So like I said earlier on in our retreat, we normally would see it as having struggled. So we know those that we have to be right on top of. Like the CEO would always say that you're only as strong as your weakest link.
Yes,
so we make sure that everybody is supported.
Awesome. Taye, I know you're having a few network issues, but would you like to add to that from the consult point of view? How do you instill excellence in teachers? How can we do that? I think Taye's frozen a little bit. So we'll come back. Fatima, now SIBA has been working with you for some time. SIBA Consultancy, I have had the privilege of working alongside you for over 2 years now. And I keep saying that you have it all. You don't need me anymore. What have you gained from the partnership, and why do you feel it's still quite important to have an external person to be able to come in quite regularly and I suppose troubleshoot with you? What do you think has made the difference?
Thank you, Carol. I think that as a school, we need someone from the outside, an external person, to come assess what we're doing. Sometimes you're very comfortable with where you're at. You asked me a question that we've been having excellent results. Are we not going to just be comfortable and stay that way? That's the reason why Meadowhall has had to sign a contract with you, because we want to keep improving. We want to keep improving and ensure that we're on top of our game compared with schools worldwide, not just locally here in Nigeria. That's one of the benefits of having to work with an external person. And knowing you're coming with, those glasses that tells that right now I'm not your friend, you're not doing this right. What are you going to do to improve on this? So we like that, Carol. That's what we want in Meadowhall, because we want to keep getting better at what we do. So you see, we want to keep getting better at what we do. I've enjoyed the fact that we've worked on our CPDs internally. We tried to make it bespoke in some way, differentiated the CPDs such that it's not one size fits all. So we've worked on our CPDs to meet specific needs and close those gaps in teachers so that we can help them progress. And in the course of doing that, we've actually motivated those excellent teachers that we know may not require this particular training, and then they keep attending that training every day. But then we've created something for them that is quite higher than others, because we know they have the capacity to achieve more. So you see, that's differentiation in having to train teachers. That's a big one. And I must say that that's one of the reasons why we're working with you, Carol. Yeah. And I must add again, I'll go back to data. I keep saying data and data. I can't stop saying data.
Okay.
In the beginning, when I heard data,
I think one of the reasons that I have enjoyed working.
We can't hear you, Carol.
We're not hearing.
No, we can't hear you.
We can hear you now.
Yes.
Okay.
We can hear you now. Okay.
Yes, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
So I didn't get your question. Could you please take your statement again?
No, so I was just saying that I've thoroughly enjoyed working with your team because you are so very open, and there's never been a time when I've not. There's never been a time that I've come and that it's been empty. There's always been something to discuss, something to talk about. We've analyzed data. Sometimes I see things that you don't see, and that's where I've been able to, I guess, open your minds. But for the average Nigerian school, do you think having an external consultant is useful? And what do you think the average Nigerian school would benefit from consultancy?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. I feel that every school would require an external consultant coming in. Every school. Initially, I had said you need to be able to assess yourself, and you can't really do that except you have somebody come in to check what you're doing.
Yeah.
So for a local school, what I'm going to advise is, again, data, because when we are making data-driven decisions, we are making objective decisions, and we are working with data evidence to support children and grow the school. Sometimes we have subjective observation. That's not good enough to make judgment on children's learning. So truly, I think every school would benefit from how to collate data, how to analyze data, how to bring out solutions from the data we have, and so that we can move learning forward for the school, for every child in the school.
Awesome. Thank you. I want to move on. I'm hoping that Taye can come back and join us as well. Typically, I've found that schools in Nigeria, Yinka, how can I put this politely? Leaders are often promoted because they're excellent classroom practitioners. Very often, once they're promoted, they literally make it up as they go along. Can you tell me about what your journey's been like at Meadowhall, your rise up the ranks, and what training and support you received from the organisation, and what training and support did you put in as well? How have you grown as a leader?
Okay, that's a very practical question for me, Carol.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that when Meadowhall started, I was the very first year 4 teacher.
Wow.
We didn't have any year 5, no year 6s. The highest class then was year 4. I think that was in 2003. And I was that class teacher in year 4. And at some point, I went to England when I got married. I was there for a decade. And for that decade, every single thing I did in the UK was in the classroom. I was a teacher, I was a class teacher.
Right.
And then I came back to Meadowhall as a senior leader. So the gap between the classroom and leadership is enormous, Carol. Absolutely enormous. I shared with staff yesterday, I said, I've seen outstanding teachers that can be struggling leaders. And that was, exactly what I went through, you know. But thank God that, Mrs. Wani, she has a gift, I would say. She has a gift of strategically, not just in the spiritual now, seeing into the future. And she would say that, Yinka, you need to work on this, on this, on this, and all that. And I think that what Meadowhall did with and for me
we just have.
would,
Go ahead.
would
I
work.
can hear you now.
Okay, what I've gone through in Meadowhall would work absolutely with any leader. What you need to do is to set targets. Based on those targets, you look for CPDs, trainings. The biggest thing that I also got that I would say has moved me is mentoring, Carol. Mentoring. When you look at professional capital, you're looking at the human capital, the social, the decisional capital, and everything would make up the professional capital. Mrs. Wani invested into that, and she's invested into me. I've gone on different trainings, mostly out of the country, very costly, very expensive, but I put it on myself that the school must see the impact, if you know what I mean. And I also need to say, Carol, that ideally, class teachers should become school leaders. The gap that needs to be narrowed would be the training. And I would not so much enjoy
and
the
I
work
think also it's not just the training. Sorry, we're back.
Okay.
Sorry, we just lost the network just a little bit there, so I might have missed you slightly.
Okay.
Perhaps you can continue.
You were about to say something.
I was just saying, I think on top of the training, it's also about succession planning. So I think the key thing for schools like Meadowhall, large schools, is that they need to begin to identify people who have those leadership skills, who are demonstrating commitment above and beyond the call of duty, and then begin to bring them in and mentor them and begin to have them doing some of the tasks that you're doing because they want to, and also because you're actually saying, we do see you as a potential leader in this environment. So you know what, before we promote you, we're going to bring you alongside, we're going to coach you, we're going to mentor you, and we're going to give you the opportunity to grow, to develop and learn. And I think that's one of the things that are missing in this environment, in that
but I must also include, Carol, that
we are promoting people very, very quickly. We're promoting people very, very quickly and without much support. Thank God it's not happening at Meadowhall. Fatima, can you hear me still? I can see you, but I don't know if you can hear me. Oh dear, it seems like I'm losing people left, right, and center. So we'll just see if we can get people to come back online. Please let me know that you can still hear me. I'm sure that if people are not hearing, then okay, let's get Yinka back. Sorry about that, Yinka.
Okay,
we're in Nigeria.
I was explaining that what we've done in Meadowhall, and we've had this for quite a bit now, we have a QAC department, because Mrs. Wani is quite big on succession plans. And as I speak to you, including Mrs. Wani, every single leader has a very strong, viable succession plan. And what we do in Meadowhall is you have at least two people on your list. And they don't necessarily need to know officially that you're on but you, the person leading them, you have to be deliberate about looking at the gaps between them and that responsibility.
Just hold on, Yinka. We're just having a few network issues. We keep going in and out.
Okay.
It's very unfortunate because I'm really enjoying this dialogue and this conversation. So please hang on in with us. Please listen. It's a very valuable. Talking to the leadership of Meadowhall School in Lekki, Lagos. With us is Yinka, who is in charge. She's the one at the top.
Carol.
And we also have the principal of the secondary. So yeah, we were talking about succession planning and the importance of having that done, and that's so important.
So,
now, I'm afraid. Yes, go ahead. Finish off.
Okay, so we try not to ever promote. Before anyone is promoted, they really would have been functioning in that role without them knowing before we say, can you do this for us? So they would have started unofficially, they wouldn't know, but would have been given them, a form of the responsibility, the activities, the tasks. We teach them to delegate and all that. And when we see the gaps, we have a plan with which we narrow the gaps. When we see the successes, we celebrate the successes, and then we also teach them how to mind the gaps, so the gaps do not re-widen. So yes, we have a strong form of systems and procedures in Meadowhall, and that includes our succession plan.
And this is one of the reasons that I love being with you.
And we love you too.
Yeah. So one of the things I want to, so Felicia is on board. Elizabeth is on board. There's so many people listening in from all over Lagos, wanting to hear what these great leaders have got to say. Taye hasn't been able to come back on board. I'm guessing that she's got some network issues. So, but I do want to touch on this. I'm a great believer that educators and schools should share good practice. And all right, I'm back. Yes, we are having some fluctuating networks, but I think people will understand. So yes, I was saying I'm a great believer that educators and schools should be encouraged to share good practice. And a lot of schools I have met and that I've worked with are very closed. They don't want to train their teachers. They don't want to share good practice when good practice is going on in your school. But I know that at Meadowhall, you've got Meadowhall Consult, and you've got teachers coming into your school or prospective teachers coming into this school as trainees. And you've got the consult arm, Meadowhall Consult. Can you tell us, Yinka, a little bit about Meadowhall Consult, about what you do, and how you're sharing good practice with schools across the whole of Nigeria?
Okay, the first thing that I'd like to mention, Carol, is the fact that Meadowhall Consult came from the heart of our CEO, Mrs. Kendi Nwani. And that came because she is ever so passionate about the Nigerian child. So what happened to Mrs. Nwani? She looked at Meadowhall and she saw the vast opportunities that the teachers had, the trainings, the quality and standard of education. And she thought, this is a drop in a mighty ocean. How can I spread this best practice? How can I make sure that good education isn't limited to Meadowhall children? So she started the Meadowhall Consult, and the trainings have gone on. And a beautiful thing that Mrs. Nwani does that maybe another school owner does, but I haven't heard of, is she opens not just her gate, her classroom doors to teachers, school owners, and prospective teachers. They come in, they have a look, they have a seat in the classrooms, Carol. Can you believe that? When you talk about being genuine in that vision for the Nigerian child, Mrs. Wani demonstrates that. So we've had people come into Meadowhall, they've had discussions with me, asked questions. We show them our books, show them round. So, if Mrs. Wani could replicate a Meadowhall on every street in Nigeria, she would.
Yeah.
She would.
And I think that's what's important, is the reason I do what I do. And several people, including Mrs. Nwani, have said that they wish they could bottle me up and just have me stay in the school on a permanent basis. But one of the reasons that I do what I do is because I believe in transformational change for the Nigerian child, and not just the Nigerian child, but children all around the world. And I think that's one thing that's really, really important. And the answer is through education. Through education, especially 21st century, those 21st century education skills, communication, collaboration, creativity, and critical thinking. These things are really, really important. And her passion, I think her vision, and I asked you a question at the very beginning, which is, why are you so driven and why are you so passionate? And I think you've just answered the question by talking about the fact that you've embraced the vision of the visionaire. You've embraced her vision and her passion, as I have, because it's the same passion that I have and the same vision that I have, which is absolutely phenomenal. So I know that a recent development in Meadowhall Consult, I just saw this recently advertised, is that you're now approved to teach the PGD in your school. Yay! Congratulations.
Yes, we are.
So Yinka, why should they come to Meadowhall rather than to the College of Education to do their PGD? What's the advantage of coming to Meadowhall to do their PGD?
Okay. A very strong advantage amongst numerous is the fact that they will get genuine and authentic learning.
Right.
We will also have our doors open to them, for their teaching practices, which will not be limited to Meadowhall, which might not even be. But if they want it to be, we can organize it in a way that they have access to our school, Carol. That is gold. Now, I've seen the curriculum. You need to have a look at it. When I saw it, I thought, I might as well register, because it's very rich, very rigorous, very robust. We've considered every single thing. And I must say to you, Carol, and to everybody listening, it is very easily comparable to any PGED anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. We've followed policies. The TRCN, we're working very closely with them to make sure that, what we've established is compliant on every level, on the British side, the global side, Nigerian, every single area we've covered.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you've actually taken the Nigerian PGD curriculum and you've enhanced it.
I wouldn't say that. It isn't the Nigerian PGD. But what we've done is we've carved out, having compared to global curricula. So we've looked at different, curricula, and we've carved out a very viable one, highly competitive, comparable to the high and mighty schools in the world. I lost you for a bit.
Yes, we did. So the number at the moment for Meadowhall Consult, if you're interested, or somebody that's interested in the PGD or any of the training at Meadowhall Consult, the numbers are going across the bottom. There's an email, inquiries@meadowhallconsult.com. So well done. Thank you.
Add, Carol?
Yes.
Can I also add very quickly that I'd encourage people to, spread the word. Registration has started in earnest, and we don't have a lot of spaces. So from what I saw, very recently, we're going to be closing registration maybe soon. So people need to register very quickly. The spaces are going like that.
Awesome. So let me just ask you a question, because I know there's going to be lots of people wondering, have you considered with your pricing the fact that a lot of teachers are on half salary or partial salary? Has there been any discounts as a result of COVID or not?
Um,
Or you're not sure?
Let me put it this way, Carol. It is underpriced.
Okay.
I was
It's
in a
good
meeting
value.
yesterday where I questioned the price because I thought it's ridiculously low. So Mrs. Winey has been
I think we've frozen. Yinka's frozen
very,
again.
yeah, it's underpriced, Carol. It's underpriced.
Okay. All right, awesome. Thank you so much. So, look, in conclusion, because our time is coming to an end, and it's been a wonderful time having conversations with you. It's just like old
Thank
times.
you.
So, I'm
Thank
sure, I'm followed by so many people, mummies and daddies, and all of that. If people are in Lagos, or anyone that's got secondary age children that wants their children in boarding, why should we come to Meadowhall School? Why should they consider Meadowhall School for their children? And this is to
Yes.
both of you, since you're back on board.
Yeah, I think Meadowhall should be number one on the list, number two on the list, up to number 5. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, Carol. Because in
Yes.
Meadowhall, we have a very vibrant, authentic, genuine, holistic education.
Wow.
As a school leader, Carol, I understand part of my priorities. Number one, safer recruitment. Our teachers have been carefully selected. The teachers that
Right.
will keep the students safe, we have made sure that we've gone through, having used our child protection and safeguarding policy. We've made sure that our safer recruitment is intact. Number two, as my priority, is safe premises. So, our children are safe. Our curriculum is robust. If you
Yeah.
if you look at the list of our secondary school, those who have graduated, their destinations, Carol, you would not want your child anywhere else. We're very intentional. Our curriculum is robust. For those who go to Covenant University and those who go to Eton and all the Ivy League schools all over the world, our curriculum will cater to your needs. If you want your destination to be in the UK, in Canada, in Africa, wherever in the world, we have designed our curriculum to cater to your need. So you never get to a point where you would wonder, oh, if only I knew I'd have done this. So we've considered everything. Our premises are safe. When children come to Meadowhall, they're safe. To God be the glory.
I always, sorry,
Christ
go ahead.
being,
Finish.
Sorry, Carol, what did you say?
Yeah.
Okay, I was saying that the first of our core value is Christ.
We're having a few network issues. We're still in and out a little bit, but
Okay.
I just want to add to that. Taye, I'm going to come to you for your final thoughts in terms of Consult and what they do, because I know your network has been terrible today. But I just want to say that one of the things I remember when we inspected your school, myself and Tim Feast, when so sorry, we're having some network issues, but yeah. I know when we inspected your school, one of the things that really impressed the parents, and it's something that they mentioned when I interviewed them, was that every single year Mrs. Nwani makes a capital investment in something, and so the parents and the children all come back looking for the exciting thing that is brand new in the school. I think last year they put a brand new aquarium, a huge aquarium in their reception area. Massive. It's a massive aquarium. And your facilities are international. I mean, I'm not just saying that because I work with you, but simply because that's the truth. So thank you so much, Yinka. Taye, I know that you've been in and out. You've been in charge of Consult for some time now. And Yinka's already been talking about the benefits of the PGD Now, we have had a few questions regarding that. There seems to be some interest. One of the questions from Elizabeth is, what are the requirements to apply as a teacher in Meadowhall? Somebody who wants to come as a teacher. So perhaps Yinka or Taye, you could answer that question. And I think one of the other questions that I saw is, not seeing it straight away, but one of the other questions is, how do you apply for the PGD? What's the process to apply for the PGD? Taye, perhaps you can speak about that. Hello, Taye. Yinka, can you jump in? It seems that Taye is
okay. Yes. To be a teacher in Meadowhall, you must have a teaching qualification from a university. It's
right.
either your first degree or a PhD, or you must have a teaching qualification,
Right.
and you must be 21st century compliant. You must be aware as a human being. Yes, we'll take it from there.
All right, fantastic. So just to wind up, I want to see if we've got any comments that we need to look at. So we've had lots and lots of great comments here. I just want to take this one from Akin Benjamin. Training, succession planning, builds a team of potential leaders, mentored into management. Meadowhall and a few other schools have got this.
Thank you.
Excellent succession plan is key for schools
Thank you.
To last. Thank you, Akin. We always love your comments. Thank you for joining us again this week. Educators and schools should be encouraged to share good practice. Carol at SEBA Consultancy and Training Services. Thank you, Lucy. We appreciate your comments. There's lots of comments about us being frozen. Some people, so we've got some comments about, let me just see if there's any questions. If you are listening still and you've got some questions, please write them in the comments box, because we're going to wind up pretty soon. Akin also said, Mrs. Nwani is an exemplary leader who raises leaders. So exciting to learn that Fatima Ikwoyo is the principal of Meadowhall now. It has been years of moving consistently in the right direction, seeing the big picture, and providing a real leadership in 21st century education in Nigeria. Glad to be part of the crop of teachers who taught the first intakes at college years back. Greater Heights Meadowhall School. That was nice. Thank you, Mr. Akin. We really enjoyed that comment. So I don't know, I know that Stella is in the green room, and yes, Elizabeth said exactly, independent learning should be encouraged so that children reason by themselves and boost their IQ. I'm going to very quickly go across to Taye. Taye, you've been in and out.
I am so sorry.
Let's see. I think I've got all of you finally back on board, just as we're closing, and now we've lost Yinka. Taye, what's your final comment?
I can't hear anyone.
No, we're not hearing you. Oh my goodness. Okay, are we back? Taye. Taye. Okay, can you hear me now? Taye, we can't hear you at the moment. Okay, let's try again.
Can you hear me now, Carol?
We can hear you. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so final comments for me is that I would like to encourage teachers to
Okay. My goodness. Our network is really not treating us very well today. Fatima, please, a final comment from you and then from Yinka. Yinka, I think it's down to you. There's only you and me that seems to have a stable network. So go ahead, please.
Network has
Final
been a
words from you.
nightmare. Okay, yeah. First, it's to thank you, Carol. Thank you for having us. Thank you for this platform. And, just to encourage everybody to keep learning, Mrs. Wani, our MD CEO, she always encourages us. And one thing she has taught us is the truest attribute of a professional is learning. So we cannot stop learning. Having said that, we also should endeavor not to be learning junkies, where all we do is learn, and learn some more. Whilst that isn't a bad thing, we also need to take time out to evaluate our practices. All these learnings that I've been doing, I've been going through, what impact have they had on my practices as a school leader, as a school owner, and even as a teacher? So we need to keep learning and also keep evaluating the impact the learning is having on our practices. So thank you, Carol.
Wow. Thank you so much to all of the wonderful leaders at Meadowhall School in Lagos. It's been a joy and it's been a pleasure to have you. It's been a real honor to have you on board.
Same here.
I can't wait to be getting back to work and coming to see you guys in Lagos. So I'm going to thank you, and I'm going to make my final comments. So thank you so much for joining us. We've really appreciated having you on. And please, for those of you that are interested in the PGD or training or anything that they're doing at Meadowhall School, the contact details are scrolling across the bottom now. Yinka, thank you. Please thank your team very much. And most importantly, please send my warmest regards to Mrs. Nwani. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I really appreciate it. All right, thank you. So this is the Educators Hangout. I've had a wonderful time talking to the leaders today at Meadowhall School in Lekki, Lagos. They are one of my clients. They've been working with me for about two to 3 years now, and they really have they are real innovators. They are a school and an organization that can be a model for how things need to be done. They're not letting go of the Nigerian curriculum, but they are embracing all the things that are great about the British curriculum as well. And I think that's the important thing, is about looking at good practice around the world and embracing that good practice to make ourselves better. So my name is Carol Barlow from SEBA Consultancy and Training Services. This is the Educators Hangout. Please like us, follow us, and share. We're here at 4 p.m. live on Facebook, live on YouTube. And if you want to join in the conversation, please look out for our adverts next week. God bless and have an outstanding week.